All right, welcome back. Let's get started on more conditional statements. And we're going to start talking about inverse, converse, contrapositive. This is, to be honest, in a class of 30, probably only 20 of us will ever try hard enough to actually learn this. The reality of it as a teacher is there's always a group of kids who are just like, honestly, I'm not interested in learning that. Okay, so don't be one of those kids. It's 3 vocab words. You can figure this out. Okay, this is what we need to learn at all costs. Okay, in particular, you know, this over here is the box that we really need to kind of study. When you talk about studying in math, it's not studying for an hour. Gesundheit. Studying in math could just be look at this for 3 minutes. Right? When you get back from lunch, look at this for 3 minutes. When you get to your, 4th period class, look at this for 3 minutes. When you get here tomorrow, look at this for 3 minutes, and you'll probably memorize it just from that. Okay? The inverse of a statement is formed by negating the hypothesis and conclusion. All right, stay with me. We're getting started here. Again, this is the 3 words. Honestly, for the whole unit, this is probably the most important, 3 minutes of the whole thing, okay? If we're going to negate the hypothesis and the conclusion, that's not really all that crazy, okay? So the hypothesis is a P, and how do we negate the hypothesis? You put a little squiggly in front of it, right? So this means that we're going to be doing the opposite of statement P. And in order to make it a hypothesis conclusion, we're going to put the arrow here, which is going to say that P is implying Q, or in this case, not P, to be specific. And we also need to negate the conclusion. How are we going to write the negated conclusion? Squiggly line, Q.
I'm getting sleepy, man.
I hear you. Well, listen, we're cruising, and it's going to get interesting once we get here. I promise it will be interesting. Or maybe it'll at least be a little bit more interesting. Okay, let's keep going. I appreciate you being honest with me. Converse is formed by switching. I forgot an I in there. My handwriting and spelling and everything today has just been a joke, to be honest. Whatever, I'm just going to put a dot. Is formed by switching the hypothesis and conclusion. That means we're going to go full crazy mode here. We're going to switch it around, and instead of hypothesis causing conclusion, switch it. The conclusion is going to cause the hypothesis. It doesn't say anything about negating. It doesn't say anything about not P or not Q. It just says switch them up. So we're going to put Q causing P. Or really, the word is implies. Q implies P. And the last one here is contrapositive. Contrapositive is a crazy looking word. Contrapositive is twice as long as these. And so contrapositive is the double whammy. Okay? It's going to be negating and switching. Here we go. I can spell it right this time. H-I-N-G. Let's go. We got it. So if we're going to negate and switch, how are we going to set that up in symbolic form? Squiggly line Q implies squiggly line P. Yep. Now, those notes that we just took in literally 2 minutes, okay? The notes that we just took in 2 minutes, again, just as like a warning, don't be a student that gives up and decides that this is too hard to learn, okay? There's 2 that are called converse and contrapositive. Those are the ones that are switched up. Contrapositive, positive is going to be the one with the double negate, which is kind of weird. You'd think like, oh, the one that says positive maybe doesn't have any negatives. That's not really how it works. Contrapositive is the big crazy one. It's the big crazy one. What's up? Can we do like 3 minutes? Who was it that was calling?
They're asking about a student that I'm sure is not in this class.
Okay. I'll pick up in just a second. Here we go. First of all, we're going to look at this, and we're going to look at these statements. Okay? We have an if-then statement. It says, if it is Saturday, then there is no school. And we got, you know, that's good news. Hopefully we don't change up on that. Okay? Now, a quick reminder on truth value. Don't overcomplicate truth value. It literally just means, is this true or false? Okay? True or false, truth value, that's all it means. So the inverse. For our inverse, sorry, I should put it like this. For our inverse, we should be negating both, but not switching the order. So we're going to look at the if statement, and we're going to write if, instead of saying it is Saturday, we're going to say if it is not Saturday. Again, that's by itself not that hard. We literally just put a not in there. Then, and we need to make sure that we also negate the Q. It says, then there is no school. It's kind of one of those double negative things, guys. We don't want to say, then there is not no school. Like, we should just say, then there is. I'm just going to put there is school. Okay? Because remember, this should be the opposite of there is no school. Okay? So what do you guys think about that? If it is not Saturday, then there is school. Is that true or is that false? Okay. If we look at these directions, it says, if false, provide a counter example. What do you think? Is it true or is it false?
It'd be false because that includes Sunday.
Love it. So he's correct. The correct answer here is that this is false. This is a false statement, right? If it is not Saturday, then there is school. That's true for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but what about Sunday? Okay? So, false because of Sunday. What up?
Can you put in password?
No. Converse. Converse means switch the order. Okay? So all we got to do is switch the order, but make sure you also switch the ifs and the thens. If always comes first. So if, switch it around, there is no school. Then, just like Zay said, it is Saturday. And how do you feel about this one? This one is also considered false. And you got to give me a reason why. What's a counter example? Because of Sunday, right? Now, even though theoretically these are the same logic as proving these both wrong, these are different things. And so if the question says inverse and you write a converse statement, it is wrong. Even though they're both false because of Sunday, you have to get the statement right and the truth value right. Last one here. Contrapositive. That means do the double. It's the big crazy word. You got to do everything different. You got to switch the order and get the opposites. So that means that Q needs to come first and be negated. If there is school, so if there is school, then now we need not P. It is not Saturday. And what do we think about that? If there is school, are you pretty sure that it is not going to be Saturday? Yeah, I agree. That's going to be a true statement. And really, as much as I was trying to, tell you guys, listen, guys, focus up. This is where it gets weird. It's just the memorization of what does inverse mean, what does converse mean, what does contrapositive mean. Okay, that's something you have to memorize. That's something you can't just raise your hand and say, hey, it's the quiz. What does contrapositive mean? Okay, you have to memorize these setups. Okay, at the same time, if you know them, it's still very easy. Okay, you just write down what you need to write down and analyze if it's true or false. All right, I'm going to end the video here. We're going to do these last two questions, but that's it.